What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Ask a CISSP podcast. So this is a weekly episode that is from the other side of the firewall, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers those people of color have made to the other side of the proverbial firewall. Speaking of which, returning guest, we have Delisha Hodo. So Delisha is the Assistant Director of Advising at the SANS Technology Institute. So we spoke last time in September of last year. Doesn't feel like it. Feels like it was sooner than that. But I believe you were the 9th episode of that year. And like now, I think we've probably done double that already this year. So I'm so happy that you're able to return back to the show so we can catch up with you. Before I get into all that, please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're pushing for 500 subscribers by the end of June. We've hit almost 400 because I want to hit 1,000 by the end of the year, hopefully, just so we can reach more people and definitely get this content where people take the time out of their busy schedules, just like Delisha, to come and speak to us about what opportunities they have, what they've been doing for the community. And I just want more awareness and get more of this stuff out of there, as well as YouTube is starting to already run ads on the stuff, and they're not giving us any of that. So I would like to use that to hopefully spruce up this office so it doesn't look like the Matrix in here. But without further ado, Delisha, how are you doing? And if you can give us a brief rundown, which they can go back and check out the first episode of what you do, who you are, and how your experience is adjacent to cybersecurity and how you're pioneering in this field to help us be better and more diverse.
Yes. Thank you, Ryan. I'm so glad to be back, and welcome to those who will be watching this a little later. I'm Delisha Hodo, and as Ryan said, I do serve as the Assistant Director of Advising for SANS Technology Institute, or also known as SANS.edu. And in my cyber adjacent role, I lead a team of other amazing advisors where our full goal is making sure that we educate and provide training to the world's future cyber leaders and advocates of the world. So we're doing that day in, day out through the college, educating, providing certifications, checking in, supporting students, as well as maintaining our undergraduate and graduate programs so that people, regardless of where they located or where they live, can get some of the best training in the whole world from SANS. And in addition to that, I also do a lot of DEIB work at SANS as well as outside of SANS. So when I'm not supporting our SANS Emerging Academies, which we'll talk a little bit later about, including our HBCU Academy, which will now be under the Diversity Cyber Academy umbrella. I'm also supporting as on the committee for the Black Girls in Cyber organization. So shout out to Black Girls in Cyber, as well as just doing all that I can just to uplift and support other organizations like Black Girls Hack, Women Cyber Jiu-Jitsu, Minorities in Cyber, Empower Her. So just doing what I can with my platform to support others and uplift others like those organizations and like Ryan here with his great podcast. So if you didn't hear him before, let's help get him to 500 plus subscribers by the end of this month, and then eventually to 1,000 before the end of this year.
I greatly appreciate that. But no, like you're doing phenomenal work within the space. And I like that you dropped a lot of good names that people should check out. And then we'll have all those listed in the description. But like Black Girls Hack, I believe they'll be on in a couple of weeks. So they booked a session as well. And I'm super excited, right? Because I've heard about the organization. I've seen some of their work. And I just want to continue to shine a spotlight on these different communities to get as many of them like you know, SANS is humongous, right? But for those who maybe are on the fence or those who don't know if a SANS certification is for them, it's good to have a person who can come here and then speak to that as well to make them feel more comfortable. Because phenomenal institute, and then all of the work that you're doing to include, I think last time we talked about HBCUs, and there was a pipeline for that. We talked about how there was some for minorities, for women, and for veterans. So SANS is doing a lot of like big and important things in this space, and you being an advocate and advisor are, you know, bridging that gap between the two. So amazing. So with that being said, so I've been watching you on LinkedIn and following you, and I saw that you have a new article or maybe a blog or a newsletter. I'm not sure which direction you're going to go, but I've read part 1 and part 2, and it's called The Journey into Cybersecurity, Discovering Your Space in the Digital World. So I think that's great. and it definitely shines a spotlight on a lot of different advocates in this space. What inspired you to begin it, and where are you going to take it to in the future?
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. Honestly, what inspired me is one day I was just kind of hanging out and thinking about the SANS Difference Makers Awards that happened that December of 2023, and being able to be, for my first time ever, co-hosting an award show. So going from being an awardee, receiving an award, to being able to come back the next year and host it was kind of surreal for me. And being able to not only meet some of the superstars and individuals that I see on LinkedIn every single day that I uplift and support and say hey to. It was just crazy to be able to see them in person, say, oh, you're real. And to be able to give them a hug and say, oh, this is amazing. That whole ordeal and just the energy from that spearheaded me to say, okay, let me kind of take it a step further by creating a short series where I not only highlight some of these individuals and the organizations or just some of the things that they're doing as an individual in addition to their day jobs, but also dropping some gems here and there for those who are newer to cyber and they're just kind of wondering, okay, where do I start? How do I get started? Who do I connect to? Because there's so much information out there, it can get a bit overwhelming. So trying to curtail that and say, hey, you can start here and build on from there. And all it takes is just kind of finding that right community, that right individual to help get you started. And then you'll definitely find your way to your ultimate goal.
And it's funny that you bring up people who are trying to start their journey, find those entry-level positions, things of that nature. I actually had someone reach out to me today. I don't want to put them on blast. I didn't ask him if I have permission or not. But for a member like himself, right, he's trying to finish his degree, but at the same time, he's looking at certifications and is trying to find an entry-level job, right? Because the market is crazy for everybody. So regardless, like that's my fear is people will get scared because they're like, oh, I can't get into cyber. Well, they can't really get into anything right now unless you network and there's a little bit of luck involved. But also it's just being within the pipeline. So with SANS being an institute that has certifications and education, things of that nature, what would you say to somebody who is trying to get their foot in the door, where they're like, well, I don't know if I need to, have 1 million certifications or if I need to join certain clubs, or I think this gentleman he's learning Python. He's trying to get scripting languages under his belt. So he's casting a wide net basically because he just doesn't know. What kind of advice would you give that type of person? It's like, where do you go to next? I think he has his Security Plus, but he doesn't have a lot of hands-on experience.
No, the fact that they're learning Python and trying to understand scripting is already a huge step because that's something that a lot of people are looking for in cybersecurity, people that possess that skill. If they already have the Security Plus, I would definitely recommend trying to get hands-on skills by either participating in Capture the Flag events, if they're still in college or college affiliated, participating in the individual NCL or trying to group up with other people, compete in teams, as well as, I would say, other certifications. If they want to try SANS, you can't go wrong with our SEC 275, which is our foundational course, GFAC certification. That'll really test their skills. It kind of aligns a little bit with some of the information that they've learned in SEC Plus. So it'll allow them to really fill out the more broader understanding of what cybersecurity is, because that course literally builds you from the ground up of understanding cybersecurity, as well as engaging with organizations, building your own home lab, even volunteering. If there's organizations, if there's a company, if there's someone around you who's willing to allow you to volunteer, to let you kind of test out whether that's supporting them and making sure that they're secure and that their web is secure and everything, keeping the cloud secure, just finding ways to practice what you're learning in real time is going to pay off. In addition to just continuously getting more training that aligns with what their ultimate goal is. And like you said, it is a little bit of luck. A lot of people are looking for a lot of experiences. Sometimes job descriptions don't match what's actually out there. So trying not to be discouraged by that and stepping outside of your comfort zone too, and networking with others, and then getting with like-minded individuals who are going to challenge you and say, hey, here's some bug bounties. I've had students who made a living off of bug bounties.
Oh, awesome.
So that's another pathway that not a lot of people think about that you could do. That's a way to test your skill. That's a way to get paid while doing it. And it's a great way to gain experience if you can't get your foot in the door in a traditional sense. And the last thing I'll say too is don't be afraid to take a role that's adjacent to cybersecurity starting out. Nothing is immediate. It takes time, take the stairs to get to the top. Whether you need to take that IT help desk job just to get a little experience, to get your foot in the door so people know your name, and then start letting people know, hey, my ultimate goal is to move over to your cyber division. And just kind of putting yourself out there that way.
Great. I've never heard the phrase "take the stairs." I've never heard that before, and that's spot on. Because I feel that a lot of people kind of want to take shortcuts. Not this gentleman's not doing so. Like, he actually mentioned, like, ultimately he wants to be a security engineer, but he's just trying to work his way up there. But that's a great turn of phrase, like take the stairs, because you simply can't. Especially in this field, as competitive as it is and how much technology is always changing, I think you bring up a good point that you have to take your time and build your skills. And then having the entry-level certification that builds you up from the ground of nothing and all the way up to having a basic knowledge of cybersecurity, I believe is a good tip as well. Like, behind the scenes, I don't warn my guests what I'm going to ask them, and I really should. I have to work on that, but I like just having a conversation. And you hit around like volunteerism, like we always bring that up. Again, looking for certifications that lead you in the door, and then from there it's your creativity, it's your interests, right? It's like, okay, now which route do I want to take? Like, I have the foundation, now where do I want to go? Like you said, cloud or networking or so on and so forth. So I think a lot of people just think it's just cybersecurity, but they don't understand how it's like you start pulling the threads away and it's 1,000 different directions you can take it to things we don't even really know just yet, especially with AI on the rise.
Exactly.
So not to jump too far, but when I was reading your article, I see that you attributed your thumbnails to BARD. So I'm on the AI train when it comes to assistance. Like, I love it. I was just killing myself with thumbnails. I was killing myself with show descriptions. And then I stumbled across, like, okay, I can hand this over to my AI assistant and then learn how to prompt engineer, right? To finesse it, to get it to, like, here's the raw data, you refine it, then I make it human, because AI has its own isms where it likes certain things. So why BARD?
Yes. And if you think about it, when we talk about AI and just how it's taken off, initially people were looking at ChatGPT, which is what I initially started with, heard about that. And then I think Midjourney was another one.
Right.
It was also one that I initially started out with, and then they stopped being free.
Yeah.
So then
they put the rug under
so it's like,
her feet.
worth me paying? I'm not sure. Let me see if there's other alternatives. So that's when I saw that BARD, which is now Gemini, through Google launched. They were testing it out. So I said, let me play around with it. So just putting in different prompts, and it created an image for me. I thought, okay, this is perfect. And now lately I've been using Copilot as well, which is through Microsoft, to test out images as well. So they do a little bit better job with images versus Gemini at the moment. I know they're still working on getting it up to par where it can pump out images to the same standard of Copilot or Midjourney. But yeah, that's pretty much why. It was because of access and just understanding that, hey, sometimes you got to go with what's free,
right?
At times, and work with it, and then just continue to find other alternatives until you feel like you're ready to invest in paying, for a paid subscription to a ChatGPT. I think it's called 4.0 or something, the new one.
Right, 4.0 omni-channel, yeah.
Exactly, or Midjourney. I'm a huge believer in that. Try to get all your education information free as much as possible. When they start charging, find an alternative that's free until you run out of options. You're like, okay, I'm going to invest in this particular product.
No, that's definitely a solid tip. So I'm a Chat GPT guy only because of I do pay them the 20, I think it's $20 a month, and I tell people it's the best $20 I ever spent. However, I tried out Gemini for the first time this past weekend, and I was like, that's really close. I was like,
yeah, they're not too far off as far as spit out.
Yeah, I was like, these results are pretty similar. So, but no, that's good. You gave me like some insider knowledge, so I may look at that as well. So with your background with SANS Institute and all of the collaborations you've been doing, since we spoke in September, have there been any major initiatives that have either started or that are going to start rolling out soon?
Yes, no new initiatives, but what will start out soon is the reopening of our SANS Cyber Academies in June. So June 1st through June 30th, those who are interested in changing their career into cyber, whether you're looking to gain just training, certifications, and just that experience needed to enter the field, are all welcome to apply for this academy. There's 3 options or pathways, as you can call them. So we have, you mentioned it earlier, Vet Success, which is for our veterans and service members who are either transitioning from service or in the active reserve forces or Coast Guard. Those who are out there, if you identify with that, we definitely want you to apply to our Vet Success program. We've had a lot of veterans be successful. In fact, I just want to take a moment and shout out Dunny Green, who actually served as our mentor for the past 3 HBCU academies that we had in the past. He was actually a former Vet Success graduate, one of the first, and he is amazing. He works in cyber and he's really giving back twofold. If you want to be like Dunny, definitely look into Vet Success and apply. And then for women who are looking to crack into this space, we definitely have the Women's Cyber Academy. We would love to have more women in this field. We need more women in this field. So definitely consider applying to the Women's Cyber Academy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then for those who identify as Black, Latino, Hispanic, Native American, Native Hawaiian, Asian Pacific, Asian Indian, or Sub-Saharan, we have the Diversity Cyber Academy for you, which is also where our SANS HBCU Cyber Academy is now being held under as well, under the umbrella of the Diversity Cyber Academies. We definitely have a little bit for everybody, and I definitely highly encourage our individuals, whether you're a student, grad student, alumni from an HBCU, a minority serving institution, a Hispanic serving institution, to apply as well, especially if you're a junior, senior, or again, a grad student or alumni. We really want everyone who identifies with one of these academies to apply and to give yourself a chance to not only change the trajectory of your life, but your family's life and legacy.
No, absolutely. And I'm appreciative to SANS for keeping the efforts going, especially in current, because we're taking this in summer-ish. It's summer for some of us. I live in Florida, right? Summer all year round, where some of those initiatives are starting to dry up within other organizations, right? They're starting to cut those positions to either for money or because of pressure. So it's good to see that SANS is still full steam ahead, because we both know that cybersecurity is just like IT in general, but cybersecurity specifically does not have a lot of women, does not have a lot of people of color. And then the more intersections that you traverse, the smaller the population. So we definitely need more diversity within cybersecurity. We need people who think differently. We need people from different backgrounds. We need people with different cultures, neurodiversity. Like, we need all the full gamut. So it's good to see that organizations as big as SANS, are putting their money where their mouth is at, and continuous efforts in these campaigns to make this field be better than it is currently. So shout out to SANS for that. So that is June. What about the fall?
I will say, although the application is open in June, the actual academy wouldn't start until September.
Okay, gotcha.
So we're starting to fall. But if people aren't ready quite yet to apply for this academy, in the fall, we will have another Women's Cyber Academy in partnership with WESIS. So we do have partnerships. So we have partnership with WESIS, where they also have a cyber academy in partnership with several other companies who stepped up and said that they want to invest in getting as many women trained in cybersecurity as possible. So that's one that's going to come up in the fall. And then in the late fall, in November, we'll have another round of these core academies again. So Vet Success, a Women's, and Diversity Cyber Academy. So if you miss this round, no worries. Give yourself time. And in the meantime, continue to work on building your foundational knowledge of cybersecurity, whether that's leaning on Hack the Box, try Hack Me until you hit the paywall, or you decide to, invest in that premium check out Cybrary as well. Lean in on those free learning paths. We have sans.org/free. We have several resources there where you can download free virtual machines and tools that you can use to help you further your understanding and skill set with cybersecurity. And then also look out for different hackathons and, again, capture the flag events that are free that a lot of different organizations put on, and invest in joining some of these organizations like Blacks in Cybersecurity. They have an amazing mentorship program. Shout out to Chad and Jess Hoffman over there. Like, they are top tier. They pump out some brilliant mentees and they have great mentors, and they really put their heart and soul into that mentorship program. So if you're looking for a mentorship in a true community family feel, then definitely check out Blacks in Cybersecurity, their mentorship program. And they have a Red Team development program that's going to launch. That may launch in the fall. I'm not really sure the timing. They haven't released the official timing, but if you want to get training, do a development program, then that's a great option too in the meantime, if you're not ready quite yet for the academy.
No, all those things are great, especially shout out to Blacks in Cybersecurity, because I tag them in every single post that I put up. That's like, I have certain tags that I keep on deck, and they're always tagged in all of my posts, because they do a good job of, like you said, their community is amazing. There's a lot of not only very good courses, but free. Like, the key word here is free. If you're starting out, free is the way to go. So you also said Cybrary. I went there, and I think it was Kelly Hinderhand, I believe was her name. I used her training, and it was like a 13-hour course, and I took that before I took my test. So again, free is the way to go. And then you mentioned veterans and that pipeline. So if you were a vet who was listening to this, use your use your TA, your tuition assistant, like, use those things to obtain this information, to obtain these certifications, because you're not gonna be able to take it when you go. So if you have money sitting in your, like, it's not really an account, but we have a specific amount that you can spend before you leave the military, burn it. Like, find out what programs they have and put your money there, because again, if you don't use it, it just sits there, right? So why not take advantage of it? But no, all great initiatives. I'm glad that you have shouting out all these different communities that I definitely want to bring members from those communities on the show to discuss what they have going on as well. So I'm very excited to have Black Girls Hack to be coming on soon. So we talked about your background. We talked about your ongoing initiatives, your upcoming initiatives. But what if somebody wants to be a Delisha Hodo when they grow up? What if somebody wants to kind of fulfill your type of role, where you're an advocate, you're a champion of cybersecurity that's doing things in the community? What is the career path? Like, how could they become an assistant advisor within this type of organizational structure?
Honestly, I'm going to say this first. Nothing is linear.
True.
Nothing at all. Little background, I graduated with a bachelor's in psychology. Very broad, so you can pretty much end up
so my undergrad is in psychology as well.
Yeah, right. So I mean, it's broad enough where you technically could do a little bit of anything. It's helpful. But I actually came from a educational nonprofit background, so it came from nonprofits, college access, and a little bit of that is me just taking a chance and betting on myself. So I took a chance. I had never heard of SANS at all. I just kind of saw the posting, and I took a chance and I applied. And it was the best decision that I ever made, because it allowed me to step into this world of cybersecurity that I had never heard of, had never thought about. I've always been a very technology heavy type person, where I'm all about, I can try to fix your computer, I can try to fix your TV type thing.
Right.
But for anyone who wants to become an assistant director of advising, definitely just follow the path that's laid out for you. Don't be afraid to take chances. Give yourself the benefit of the doubt, and network with people. So connect, let people know, hey, these are my strengths, this is what I'm interested in. And also, don't pigeonhole yourself. Don't put yourself in a box where, say, I'm only going to do this one thing, or I'm only good at this particular area of a career. Give yourself the room to try any and everything which is what I allowed myself to do by entering higher education and ending up in cybersecurity with SANS. And then also don't feel pressure to follow the same roadmap as everyone else. So when I left my nonprofit role, everyone was going to grad school. I didn't want to go back to school.
Gotcha.
I could not afford that student loans. I was not going to try to make myself afford going back to school. So I said, I'm just going to go the career route, and wherever it leads me, that's where it leads me. And it led me here talking to you. So I definitely wouldn't change that either. So again, for those out there who want to eventually become assistant director advising, nothing's linear. There's no magic formula or code. The most important thing is just being you, trusting yourself, following your gut, stepping outside of your comfort zone, and not limiting yourself.
No, that's very on point. That's on many different ways, right? So with the background in psychology, my undergrad's also in psychology. I was in the military. I was IT at the time, but I had an interest in people, right? Like what makes people tick? Like what makes them do what they do every day? And what I've learned is that kind of goes hand in hand with anything that's client facing. Like if you want to be a consultant or things of that nature, you have to be not necessarily a people person, but you have to know how to interact with people, right? You have to be able to have that type of conversation, build a rapport, and then if it's sales, you sell. If it's advice, you give advice, things of that nature. So when I've met a lot of people within cyber that have psychology backgrounds, and like you said, you gave yourself the opportunity in the space, because I was about to hop out of IT. And I was like, I'm going to be a therapist, right? And then I got to my graduate, and I was writing a paper every week, and I was just like, I'm not feeling this. Like, this is not what I want to do. I'm going to go do some IT stuff again. And then that's when it just linked up, right? It synced up for me to go cybersecurity route because of the job I had in the military. But no, like that's great, because a lot of people do have degrees that are not necessarily traditional to our field. It so much complements the different areas of cybersecurity. Like I've talked to people who were in theater. I've talked to people who were in medical. Like, every job has some aspect of cyber somewhere in it. You just have to kind of figure out what it is, or IT, I should say. Because with like the musical, the gentleman I talked to came from the theater background. His thing was he loved AV because of the theater, right? So he was like, I'm technical, I'm a techie guy, kind of person, and he's personable because obviously he's on stage doing his thing, and it just worked for him, right? And then I've talked to people who have psychology degrees who are just like, you know what, it helped me to better understand people, so that way I can help them do X or do Y or do Z. So it's good to see that it works both ways, right? Like you're able to take that degree and then, pivot into something that fits you very well. You're doing great things within the space. And I'm sure sometimes you have to hit people the Jedi mind trick, right?
Right.
You want to do this.
Yeah. And I love that you said that too, because if you think about it, especially people who are trying to break into this field and feeling like, oh, I have to go get a computer science degree. You do not. We need people, like you said, with theater backgrounds, with music backgrounds, FBI backgrounds, law enforcement. If you were a dentist, if you were a therapist, like I've had students who were former therapists, they were former Chapman, they were former musician. So people from different walks of life we need in this field, because like you said, things are changing so rapidly that you need people from different backgrounds and different thought processes. And also understanding that emotional intelligence is going to play a huge role in your success, not only just in the career in cyber, but just in general, because that's what people are looking for, some of those soft skills. So don't abandon your soft skills for the sake of building up your technical skills. Those are important too, but don't lose sight of further developing your soft skills, because like you said, you have to know how to talk to people, you have to know how to interact with people, and use some of those Jedi mind tricks to persuade people to do what you need them to do and to keep themselves safe and protect their networks. So
right, exactly. Yeah, and the military called it motivation. You know how to motivate people. Yes. Whether that's what they want to do or not, you got to motivate them in that direction. So no, that's awesome. Well, what am I forgetting? So we talked about, because before I pivot into the everything else, right? When it comes to SANS, its initiatives, the community outreach, like you're seeing any trends or anything that you're like, this is where people need to focus on when it comes to particular pipelines, or when it comes to maybe even people for their outreach, like somebody listening to this who wants to give a hand up or wants to provide mentorship, where should you point them?
I would definitely point them to some of the organizations that I shouted out. On the SANS side of things, if you notice anyone who's either at SANS or whether they're not at SANS or not, just kind of going out on a limb and offering your support. There's people on LinkedIn all the time who are kind of like, hey, I would love mentorship, or hey, I'm struggling here. Can someone help me? So just stepping out on a limb and commenting under their post or messaging them and saying, hey, I can help. I've went through what you went through, or I've been where you've been. So let me help. And then right now, through the college, we try to encourage our students to be mentors and supporters of each other, because we do have individuals who are at various levels of the cybersecurity career. Like we have people who've been in cyber for 10 years. We have people who've been in cyber for 5 minutes.
Right.
So it's like a wealth mixing pot of individuals, and just in encouraging people to say, hey, step out on a limb, or reach out to people, ask people for help, give people help, and kind of reach out that way. But I would definitely say start with some of the organizations, local organizations that you see all the time. Personally reach out to people on LinkedIn, or utilize your network to say, hey, is there any organizations or companies or people that could happen to have or need mentorship? I know Black Girls Hack, they need mentors all the time. So if you're looking to reach back and support someone, definitely reach out to them about becoming a mentor. Blacks in Cybersecurity, they're always looking for mentors. Black Girls in Cyber, they're always looking for mentors. So there's a plethora of organizations who will always need mentors. So you'll always have something to do and support.
No, absolutely. And that's going to be the word I'm going to edit out of the podcast. I always have one word. It's going to be absolutely this time around. No, that all good and sound advice. I know there's a lot of people who do want to provide mentorship or be a wingman or wingwoman to those who are trying to get in. Just be kind regardless, because it's very confusing, especially with the rise of AI. Everybody's like, oh, it's going to take our jobs. It's going to do this, it's going to do that. It's not. It's an amazing tool that will help you. It's a better chisel, for the person who's trying to create something or trying to forge something new. So just help people out, because we're all pretty much on a, I would say, daily, weekly, monthly, or annual basis, learning something new, even those who've been in the field for a long time, because it's always rapidly changing. And that's why I like it. So if you're a person who's interested in a fast-paced, non-linear, non-traditional career field, then cybersecurity is definitely for you. Because we're always expanding. Like, I don't even know what next year looks like, especially with all the new trends in AI. Okay, so I know you're a busy person, right? You're doing all of the academic advising. You're connecting with all of these different communities. You're mentoring, as well as now you also write and share with us on LinkedIn. What do you do to unwind? Like, this is the everything else portion of the show. So what do you do when it comes to vacationing, take some time for yourself, movies, books, games, all that good stuff, like outside of maybe, because I think we talked about rap last time, I think. So definitely want to get to the Kendrick Lamar and
yes,
Drake.
I was going to ask you about that.
But what are you doing to kind of find your particular space?
One thing that's really helpful for me is every morning taking like a 1.5, 2 mile walk around town, just to kind of feel the air, the sun, hear the birds chirp,
right?
Just to get that nature, feel some of that sun that you need, because it's really easy, especially when you work remotely, to be in the same four walls every day and just get looped into, especially those weeks when you have nothing but meetings and you look up and the day is gone and you've been in the same room the whole time. So trying to break out of the mundaneness of that by starting out my day getting sunshine and kind of breathing some fresh air is something that I like to do, as well as I'm actually read a book, got back to buying physical books, because I realized when you're staring at screens, trying to do an audiobook or ebook, it's not as fun.
Right.
So I actually purchased a book, Trent Shelton's book, If I have it, I should have brought it with me. But he he wrote a book recently, and I loved it because he talked about different mantras, pretty much setting boundaries for yourself with people, just with life, and just understanding who you are and that you need to protect your peace. I think the book is called Protect Your Peace. Um,
Yeah, that's
but
definitely necessary.
Yes, but it's an amazing book, and he just literally breaks it down. Like, hey, step one, here's how to protect your peace. Here's some anecdotes of my life and how I had to come to that realization, and just understanding that you may have to let certain people and certain things go to get where you ultimately are destined to be. So I was reading that while I was on my trip to Jamaica. So always trying to schedule and plan out vacations is really important as well. Wanting to travel a little bit more. Again, to get out of these four walls and,
Word.
and get out of the everyday. It's something that I love doing and traveling. My next trip is Dubai in October.
Oh,
My
awesome.
birthday, I always do a birthday trip
Okay.
every year, so that's something to look forward to. And then trying to sprinkle in little short trips here and there as well. Basketball, I've always been a very avid supporter of women's basketball, whether that's women's college basketball or WNBA.
Okay.
So particularly excited about hitting some games to cheer on my aces in my Atlanta Dream. And I'm also rooting for the Chicago Sky
Okay.
for Angel Risa, Camila Cardozo,
Right.
and all those great individuals. Then other things I've done as well is, of course, music. I've been listening to a lot of gospel lately, just kind of get that motivation, encouragement, but then also being very enthralled in this
The
Kendrick.
beef. So
Yes,
before we get there,
Kendrick and
so
Kendrick beef.
before we get there, so Jamaica was our spring break trip. So I took
Okay.
the wife kids to Otos Rios. Is where we went. Where'd you go in Jamaica?
We were in Montego Bay.
Okay, got you, got you. Yeah, it was my first time there. Great. Like I was like, why did I come here sooner? Like this it's a shorter trip than most journeys. Everybody speaks the same language I speak,
Right.
and everybody's just cool. Like they don't want to worry about nothing. They just want to go about their day, be peaceful, and I really enjoyed it. I was like, I got to come back. Um, like I kept telling my wife like, we got to buy some land here.
Right. Yeah, it was funny. We were looking at houses, like, oh, this is not too bad. But I have heard
No.
it takes a while for them to build them, which I understand.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
But
I noticed I saw a lot of houses being built. I was like, man, that's gonna be a humongous. It's like right there on the water. I'm like, this is beautiful. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. So I'll probably go back to Jamaica sometime in the near future. But we gotta get into the beef. I think it's over. However, it was great. It was like it was a great time for the hip hop community. We haven't had a good beef, I'd say. It's
oh wow.
been it's been years. I think the last one I was like really into was Jay-Z and Nas. And it was before that was LL and Cannabis. But yeah, this was good. And it spurred other beefs. Like I saw the game drop something on
Right.
Rick
Yeah,
Ross.
everyone was trying to jump on it. It was like, we don't care about y'all. We care about if Drake's going to say something back. But yeah, I have Not Like Us in rotation
Yeah, yeah,
in
he dropped a
Euphoria. So
banger.
yeah. Yeah, I was like, oh, this is taking me back to the Cali days when I was living in Cali. The night,
Okay.
Not Like Us, the beat, the vibe, everything. I was like, oh man, this makes me want to dance. Like that's
Yeah.
a song that'll make you get up and dance for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Like I saw I forget who I was watching, but they're like when HBCUs come back
Yes,
online, it's gonna be the jam.
cannot wait.
Every
That's
every event, every football game, like they're gonna play Not Like Us. And I'm like, he's dropped at least a banger for the rest of the year.
yes. And what's crazy is the Honda Battle of the Bands is coming back next year in
Okay.
February, and it's gonna be in Inglewood.
Oh,
So
okay,
wouldn't
yeah.
that be perfect if they can convince Kendrick to come out with the bands? Like that would be amazing.
That would be amazing. Yeah, I mean, everybody won, but yeah,
It's
Kendrick ate him up.
definitely one.
So I was like, okay, like, so I don't see Drake going anywhere, right? He still has like 40, I think he has 42 top 100 songs. Like, I went to Target the other day and they were playing his music, and I'm just like, he's on the Target soundtrack, so he
Right.
ain't going nowhere. But yeah, I'm just like, Kendrick has to drop an album. Like, I need more. So no, that was good. Anything else though? So we talked about books, we talked about music. Any movies that you want to shout out that people should check out? Like I know American Fiction's on my list to watch
I
next.
did. I got to see that. That was really good. If people haven't seen, especially if you don't know who Shirley Chisholm is, Shirley on Netflix,
Is it good?
it was really good.
Okay.
Very insightful, especially her being like the first Black woman elected to Congress and then
Right.
running for president.
Yeah, she
So
ran for president. Yeah.
yeah, so that was pretty dope. And then I haven't seen. I feel like there hasn't been a lot of good movies come out lately. But I am looking forward to because for whatever I'm fascinated with tornadoes, even though I never want to be in one.
Oh, the new
But
Twister. Yeah.
Twister, yeah, wouldn't mind
So
seeing that. But also Bad Boys, because I know it's coming out next month. So
yes.
checking out Bad Boys as well.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about that. Yeah, we had a bunch of bangers at one point, right? Like Black Panther 2 dropped, Woman
Right.
King dropped. My wife and I saw Color Purple. The new one was
Yeah.
it was okay.
Because it was a
So
musical, yeah.
yeah,
Some
but
people really hate it. I don't know, but we'll support.
right. But yeah, it was banger after banger after banger. So I'm very excited about American Fiction. I'm a Issa Rae fan, right? So like
Yes.
Insecure and all that other good stuff. I know she has some more stuff coming out, so I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be good. But yeah, no, I think we're in a good landing spot. So yeah, I'm excited about WNBA as well. Like I don't follow it as heavy. I don't follow basketball as heavy as I should. I'm a Knicks fan, so he's got
Okay.
bumped out of there.
Sorry about your
Like
loss.
I was like, we're finally
Unfortunate.
good.
Yeah.
So I have hope for next season, right? Because we're playing well with, our roster was pretty ate up. So like when we come back healthy, that's what everybody says, right? For the next season, we're gonna come back healthy. We're gonna come back. We'll see. Like Knicks haven't been good since I was a kid, so I was super excited. But yeah, hopefully for everybody who's still with us, hopefully if you have not already, please go to Delisha's profile, check out all the great stuff she has going on with the SANS Institute. If you are one of those groups that can take advantage of the upcoming open registration, right? You're a veteran. You're a minority, you belong to HBCU. You're a woman who wants to get into the field. All the above. Definitely check out all of the good stuff that Santa has coming up, and then hit up all of those different communities that we shouted out, right? Blacks in Cyber, Women in Cyber, Black Girls Hack. Like there's a lot of different communities, and they're all thriving. I think it's called Blacks in Information Technology. Like they're also a really big community.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot out there. If you feel as though you belong or you identify as one of these groups, you definitely need to jump into one of them and just meet somebody new, meet somebody who's interested in the same stuff you're interested in, because together you guys can be successful, right? And then just continue to hit us up, right? Like, share, subscribe. We're over 1,000 downloads for the month already. So for whatever reason, this month is it's up there. It's always the month that you're on. Like,
Continue to.
yeah, like whatever, like just keep pumping those numbers
Yes.
up, right? So, like hopefully those flip into subscribers is what we're hoping for, because we're trying to hit 500 at the middle of the year to hit 1,000 hopefully by the end of the year, so we can finally do live events and things of that nature. Like you just get more stuff on different platforms, the more people who subscribe to your channel. So we're trying to just do more for the community, if at all possible. This should be probably the 592nd or 90. It might be 96 if I wait till next week to publish this. So behind the scenes, but this is before 600 episodes, right? So I greatly appreciate you being part of this journey, for coming back. We definitely have to have you back on again, hopefully before the end of the year. Just talk about anything that you have coming up, and then just like your fan favorite, right? So people are interested in what you're doing, and hopefully that helps them to get off the fence and join the cybersecurity team, is what we're hoping. Hit up all the websites that go by our name. It's either the other side of the firewall, the other side of the FW, Ask a CISSP. You hit me up on socials. I'm at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy. Pretty much on everything you can think of. You, Delisha, where can they find you?
Yes, you can follow me on LinkedIn. Just search my name, Delisha Hodo, and you'll find me. Hard not to find me, quite honestly, there. On Twitter, meticulous-d is where you can find me as well. If you need anything, hit me up, but be very specific in what you need, and I can try to direct you to the proper people if I can't help. And then last thing, is it okay if I do 3 quick shout outs?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. The first shout out I just want to do is to our college, SANS.edu. So we spoke about the academies, just in case you're not ready for the academy, or let's say you're not selected for the academy because it's very competitive. We do have undergraduate certificate programs, a bachelor's degree program, a master's program, and grad cert programs. So whether you're a veteran and you have those VA benefits, we accept those. Employer funding, we accept that. 529 college funds, we'll take that as well. But we also have an income share agreement and a tuition payment plan for those who want a more affordable option. And you can get certified at a discount compared to SANS.org. So just a kind of tip there. The other thing I just want to shout out as well is Black Girls in Cyber is actually having a course and convos with the Buckhead Art and Company on May 30th from 6 to 9 p.m. Tickets are still on sale, and I still have one free ticket that I'm giving away. So if you find my post regarding course and convos, there is one ticket left. If you would like to claim it, I would love to give it away to you. And I believe that's pretty much it. So thank you again, Ryan, for having me. It's definitely been a pleasure. And as we said before, let's get Ryan to 500 plus subscribers by the end of this month and make this thing happen.
I appreciate that. And we'll put all of the above in the description. So just give me all the links and I'll put all of it in there to make sure people can get to it, right? But yeah, thank you again for being on the show. It's always a pleasure. I got to have you back on again. And then if you have anything going on in between time, feel free to tag me and I'll go ahead and I'll reshare it.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, no problem. So for everybody else who's listening, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sticking with us for almost 600 episodes. Stay safe. Stay secure.
Yes, take care.